When you've finished using your felting foot, you'll need to remove it from the machine, and in order to do that you'll need the Allen key and the screwdriver that came with the felting kit. So just undo, you need to rotate the hand wheel from the back of the machine to get it to its highest point. And then you can remove this, which is the little unit that holds the felting needles that you'll have put on to the needle bar. So just undo those screws, which are quite long actually. I tend to take one out, leave one in. Like so, and then that will come off. Go down into there. And just put that back in place, because once you've done this assembly, you don't need to take it all apart again. It can just sit in the little kit, and then that's nice and safe. Now, I mean, you do have the option when you're doing the felting of having less than the needles, less than 5 needles, which is what you can actually put in here. I've just got 3 in there. You might want to make a note of which needles you used. It's quite hard to tell. I mean, some are obviously quite thick, but it's better to probably make a note of what you took off. And then we just need to remove that and the foot plate. So the foot itself is a special one for the needle felting. Helps if you go the right side. So you get an Allen key for removing your foot. Just use the same one for this. Take that off. And then we're going to change that stitch plate out. Now you don't have to change the stitch plate out, but I'm actually going to put this on a different machine, so I will. But you could use this just for your regular sewing. It's got 2 extra holes in it. So I guess that might mean that, you know, things can fall down it. So yeah, it's up to you. If you're going to be doing some felting again in the near future, you might just want to leave the stitch plate on. Now after you've done some felting, it's going to be full of fluff. So you'll probably want to give that area a nice clean out with your brush and make sure it's nice and clean before putting the original stitch plate back in place. Make sure you get it the right way up. I have seen a customer put theirs the wrong way up, even though it's got these indented areas for the screw to fit. And let's just tighten that up. Get that one in. It's best, always best with screws and things to just tighten it loosely on both sides before tightening up one or t'other. This is a pretty new Moxie. So once I've done that, I'm going to put the needle clamp screw back in place, which I removed in order to put the felting foot on in the first place. And I've put all this stuff back in the box so that you know where to find it. So here's my needle clamp screw. Now this can be a little tricky to get in on some. You just don't want to cross thread it, otherwise you're going to have to replace it. So try and get that nicely squared in. If you back it off, sometimes that makes it easier to get it in, and that has worked nicely. Then we're going to put our regular foot back on. In this case, I'm actually going to put a square foot on because I'm about to do a little demo with a square foot. But you put whichever foot on that you want and then tighten that in place. And then we're going to put the needle back in place, put the bobbin case in, and we are good to go after removing our felting foot attachment.